السلام عليكم جميعا. Thank you for joining us today. أرحب في البداية بكل من التحقوا فينا اليوم في هذه الحلقة النقاشية لمناقشة أداء شركة تأجير للتمويل عن السنة المالية المنتهية في 31/12/2024. أرحب في البداية بزملائي اللي معي موجودين في القاعة. To my left, Mr. Kashif Yaqub, the Deputy CEO of the company. To my right, Mr. Musa Lawati, Head of Finance, Mr. Mustafa Lawati, Head of Investor Relationship and Head of Legal as well, and Mr. Akhtar Zaman, the Manager in Finance Department handling MIS and reporting. We'll just take you through a brief about the company. To start with, we'll dig deeper into the numbers afterwards, and then we will basically open the sessions for questions. Just to give you a brief about the company, I'm sure you guys are aware about Taageer Finance and the incorporation. This year we are celebrating our 25th year of basically continuous success. We are proud that this company is one of the basically old leasing companies in Oman with very strong shareholders. Strategic shareholding by more than 80% of financial institutions regionally and from Oman as well. Our market cap as of December last year stood at 28.2 million Omani Riyal as opposed to 25 million in 2023. Just major milestones and remarks of our achievements last year. Last year, with an intention to enhance our capital base, we have raised our first ever perpetual bond, and we have raised 25 million successfully from mainly the local market and regional market. This was a very important milestone for us because with that we have almost doubled the capital base of the company, which basically took some time to get increased. With the continued success that we witnessed over the last 5 years, the board has decided that they want to embrace a new strategy. So we engaged a strategy consultant and we had a long time to basically debate about the future of the company. Now we have a new strategy approved for the company till 2029 with new aspirations and new, inshallah, continued success. Last year as well, we have successfully repaid about 14.6 million of our second issued bond. We have started going to the bond market from 2021. This was the second bond that we have repaid successfully to the investors, and we have another bond which is outstanding for repayment by next year. We will basically continue tapping this bond market. We will be in contact with our investors and potential investors for basically enhancing our liquidity and funding mix. As we stand, we have about 8 locations that we are doing business in Oman. We are fairly spread across the country to capture the significant business that we look forward to capture in future. A couple of the awards that we were honored to get last year, we were recognized at the beginning of this quarter by having the best brand of the year by Alam al-Iqtisad. We were the finance company of the year for the year 2024 as well. That recognition came from Oman Forum in beginning of this year, 2025. And a couple of digital initiatives were recognized by Alam al-Iqtisad by getting the Technology Pioneer of the Year award in 2024. As I basically briefed you, we have embraced our new strategy for 2024 to 2029. And with that, we set a new vision for the company. Leveraging on our success over the last 25 years, we basically aim to be the preferred financial partner delivering the digital-first solutions to mainly SMEs and retail customers. SMEs has been a focus segment for the company for a long time. And as we speak, basically most of the portfolio is concentrated toward SME financing. We will continue to serve that sector We know the riskiness associated with that sector, but we think it's a very important sector for the economy, and we are happy to support that sector or beyond that. From a mission perspective, we are aiming to provide our customers with accessible, innovative, personalized financial solutions. We are not just a lending party to them. We are kind of a financial partner to offer them the type of products that they wish to get, and basically to help them foster their growth and financial security and contribute to the socio-economic development in Oman. For the key financial performance, I'll leave it to Mr. Kashif Yaqub, the Deputy CEO, to go through these numbers. Please.
Thank you very much. Good morning, all of you. So, in terms of income statement, if you see that all the key measures, starting from the top line, which is our finance income, has increased, say 16%. Operating profit has increased by 3%, and the net profit has increased by 15%. This is commendable, keeping in view that the company, despite its own growth trajectory, is able to maintain the profitability and increase it. Also, one notable figure, if you see that the company has continued its trend of strengthening the provision coverage. And this year also, if you see, the provisions of the company is 6.5 billion, which is more than the net profit of the company and 32% higher. This is in line with last few years when you see that the company has been focused on strengthening the provisioning coverage over the last few years. In terms of the balance sheet of the company, we see that the portfolio has increased by 18%. In terms of funding diversification, you see that the borrowing has increased by 10%. And in the equity side, you see the impact of perpetual bond, which has increased equity from 50 million to around 78 million. So this has reduced the leverage of the support capacity to growth book. Now, in terms of the key performance indicator, if you see the portfolio of the company has shown a compounded growth of 13%. It has increased from around 259 million to 306 million last 1 year. Revenues have shown a compounded growth during 5 years of around 18%. Operating profit has shown a compounded growth of around 31%, and net profit has shown a compounded. These are all indicators. Now, these are not kind of any standalone efforts of a team. I think we give a lot of credit to the overall conducive environment that the partners we have, especially like Bank of Oman, the regulatory environment, the bankers who have provided us with support growth, the depositors and investors who have trusted us repeatedly in giving us more money in terms of corporate deposits. So it's an ecosystem which has supported us to achieve a fantastic indicator. In terms of the market share, as you've seen that the company over the last 5 years continuously has increased market share also. In terms of its position, it has grown in the last around 6 years from the 5th largest to the 2nd largest. Earning per share has shown an improvement from 8.2 to 20.4. Cost to income ratio of the company has been continuously on the decline from 52% to 35%. Provision coverage has increased from 51% in 2020 to 66%. There is a slightly decline in the provision coverage, really, because this year we had some write-offs, and we plan to increase it over the years. The funding mix of the company, if you see, this is very interesting to see that in 2020, our funding mix was not very diversified, but primarily dependent on bank funding. So 93% of our funding was coming from the banks. And gradually over the years, we have diversified it. So as of now, as of the 31st December, if you see that this bank funding contributes contributes 59%, a reduction from 93%. Then 11% is coming from the perpetual bond, 6% is coming from the other bonds, unsecured bond which we issue, and the deposits has increased from 7% part of our fund. Because we believe that in our line of business it is absolutely critical that we do not rely on a single source of funding. We want diversifying this. In terms of gearing, this was one of the concern of a few banks, that although the Central Bank of Oman has allowed gearing up to 5 times, but some of the banks, they thought that 3.8 gearing was a bit high. So keeping in view this concern of few of the banks, we have issued the perpetual bond, and now the gearing ratio is 2.6%, and we see this is something which is well within the limit of the regulator, and still there's a lot of room for growth. In terms of return on average equity, if you see, this is again a very kind of positive and excellent performance. From 5%, we have increased to 10.6% return on average. And return on average asset has been doubled from 1.1% to 2.1%. In terms of dividend yield, I think as from all the shareholders' perspective, we see that from 4.8%, this is more than double. The dividend yield as of 2024 was 10.6%. This also shows a strong return to the share.
Thank you very much. We leave basically the floor for questions from your side, if any. Please.
Yes, Mr. Joyce, you can go ahead, please.
Unmute him. Joyce?
Hi.
Yeah, we hear you. Afternoon.
Good morning, sir. Good
Good morning,
sir.
sir. Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Thank you for the presentation. And congratulations on the good set of numbers. You've been leading the sector over the last 3 years with impressive growth rate of 3-year CAGR. If I'm looking at it, I'm seeing 80%, 18%, which is the highest among any leasing sector companies. Could you please share your outlook for loan growth going forward, especially when you have achieved 18% consistently over the last 3 years? How do you see the loan growth going forward? And also, could you touch upon which are the segments that you see the growth coming from?
Thank you very much. Maybe I touch bases on the approved strategy. As you said, basically maintaining a good CAGR of 18% over the last 5 years makes it a bit challenging to go further. We are still positive on the growth of the Omani economy. And I think with the focus that the vision has put on the SME sector, I think there are pockets that we can help in as well as a financing company. You can see that basically the development bank is back on track supporting the SMEs. So we are another pocket to basically support SMEs, and we are trying to collaborate with the different governance in Oman to basically help in promoting SMEs in different projects that are awarded in Oman. Of course, you are aware, as an analyst, you are aware about the sectors which are coming up in Oman and where is basically the money being spent. And I think we are trying to tap to the same sectors. The strategy is putting some capital growth aspirations in mind, plus a capital injection in mind as well, while leveraging on technology. Probably, I mean, we can sit on one-to-one basis if you're keen about understanding our new vision, and we can explain how we are planning to grow beyond what we have achieved. In brief, this is what I could say about the future outlook.
Appreciate it. Thank you. See, one of the, when I looked at your balance sheet, your asset growth for this year was contributed by your factoring book and retail loans when there was a decline in your corporate loan book during this year. So I just wanted to check, was it a conscious decision by the company that you you look for lower growth in the corporate side and then increase your factoring book? And your factoring book is grown more than doubled, 1.5 times growth that we have seen during the last year. So, or was it a reclassification that happened during this year when it came to the reporting? Also, could you please explain your strategy for the various sectors and which are the areas that you see as attractive?
Okay. First of all, I think if you see our previous presentations also, we have been very consistent in explaining the stakeholders that the strategy is to diversify the risk and lower the risk wherever possible. So if you see in terms of our total percentage composition, majority of our portfolio lies in the SMEs. In terms of retail sector, now the slight shift in the mix between retail and SME is basically depending on that strategy diversification. We believe that at this point in time, whenever we see that we can diversify this ratio. However, the main focus still remains on the SME market, and this contributes a major part of the portfolio. And one more thing which is important to note is that during the last around 5 years, consistently what we have done is that average ticket size of the company we have lowered significantly. So if you see that the kind of exposure, we can't disclose the average ticket size, but what I'm telling you in terms of the per contract exposure which we are taking, it has reduced significantly over the years. And this is something which is a very conscious strategy. And in line with this, we take exposure in the SME and retail. As regards your second question about sector, I think it's very important to understand that primarily the driving sector remains the same sector, services sector, construction sector. These are the main sector. So we keep continuing focus on these sectors. And otherwise the trading sector. So there are some like manufacturing and the downstream oil and gas. These are we also have taken exposure, but keeping in view that these are the sectors which are also being funded by the banks, and we don't want to. We don't have the capacity to compete the banks in these sectors. So we keep on focusing on the sector whereby we have consistently performed well. So we are not changing any strategy in terms of our sector diversification.
Thank you. And when I was looking at the factoring business, it has improved a lot, and your NIM also has improved. So is it okay that I connect the NIM improvement with your growth in the factoring business? I mean, we compare the yield on the factoring business versus the conventional book. And just wanted to check if they are attractive and what's the reason why you're focusing on this segment.
Actually, let me explain I think when you say factoring business, now this is not the factoring in that sense. This is basically working capital financing. And this is a normal part of our business which we have been doing consistently. So this is whereby we take care of the medium-term loan requirement of most of the SMEs. So there is nothing new development in this year. So we have been doing this consistently for last 3-4 years, and we have continued the trend. So, and in terms of the quality of this portfolio and the NIMs in this portfolio, since right now we believe that over the years we have focused on serving our existing client, because in terms of the performance of these clients, that is pretty much predictable. So that has helped us a lot in getting more NIMs and more profit from this portfolio.
Okay, got it. And Taageer, when I looked at other companies, Taageer has the highest margin among leasing companies over the last 2 years. And could you share your thoughts on how do you see the margins going forward? Will you be able to maintain this, or because maintaining this is, of course, it's a challenge. But your margin erosion has been slower than the others. Let me put it this way. So how do you see the margin trends going forward?
Good question, Joyce. See, I think with the strategy that we have taken on supporting the SMEs mainly, we were competent among the other competitors in attracting good tickets and managing them internally as well. And with that, we were charging a bit of a premium to basically help us capture that advantage. Now, we were previously predicting a downward turn in interest rate. However, with the recent developments, only God knows what happens with the turbulence that is being created currently in the markets. When it comes to margins, the competition plays a role over here. I mean, we are living now in a very competent, basically financing competition, either from development bank or other competitors in the same sector. That might force a bit of a challenge on maintaining the margins. But we are reviewing that constantly. I mean, every quarter we look at our business, we look at our demand from customers, we review what is happening in the market, and then we try to correct our positioning just to maintain the growth. So I don't have a straightforward answer for you when it comes to maintaining the margins. We hope that the margins are maintained. However, I mean, looking at the macroeconomic picture, or looking at the competition as well, the positions might be corrected.
Okay, got it. See, the next one that I have is on the NPL build-up. When other companies, we are seeing almost all the leasing sector companies, we've been seeing that their NPL is coming down, but at the same time, Taageer's NPL has slightly moved higher, and then other companies are looking at increasing their provision, but at the same time, Taageer's provision coverage has been on the coming down in 2024.
Yeah.
So could you just tell us, when you're aggressively growing, it's natural that there will be some NPL building into the system, but when you look at it, how do you see the NPL evolution that's happening in Taageer's book, vis-a-vis the sector has a declining, is a little bit cautious, or a declining NPL ratios? And can you touch upon your provision coverage ratios, and what's your ideal level that you will be looking at for the provision coverage?
So, Joyce, I think first thing is, in terms of the NPL ratio, you see that post-COVID, as you know, that there are several clients which were restructured in order to support the SME sector. So some of these clients, they were in stage 2, and subsequently they moved to stage 3. So this is something which was expected. And this is something, again, because this is a phenomena which will happen, and it was bound to happen sooner or later. So this is something which was already expected. Now the question is that when it happened, so how did we respond? So how we responded is evident in the ECL, which we have shown in the profit and loss statement. If you see that the ECL amount has increased by 30%. So this is how we have reacted to this. Second part of your question is about the provision cover. Provision cover, as I explained in the presentation, is something, the write-off policy of the company was there, but it was not exercised for a significantly long time. So we did not do a write-off for a pretty long time. So this time, after a long time, the company has carried out the write-offs. And the impact of this provision coverage, slightly lowering the provision coverage, was mainly because of these write-offs. So these are the two, I think, questions which you asked. If you have any further explanation.
Okay. And so do you expect any further write-offs going forward?
Write-off is a continuous process. It will happen. Because you see, please understand that post the oil price decline of 2015, actually when a significant amount, and the business model of, if you have been following Taageer, and since you are following for a pretty long time, if you see, the major shift is that prior to 2017-18, a lot of portfolio were, you say, the corporate or bigger enterprises, which went bad. So these were the accounts. So subsequently, it took us some time to provide this account, and we are continuing this trend. And now most of this legacy portfolio has been significantly provided. And this is something, the write-off of those accounts will happen now. So the company will continuously embark on write-offs gradually. And we have taken this account into the future projections and the profitability of the company.
Okay. My last follow-up on the your comfortable level for provision coverage ratios. Right now, large companies are at 73% and Taageer is at 66%. So, where do you see would be a comfortable provision coverage ratio that you can settle down and say that there may not be much of any further provisioning expenses during any year?
Well, this is again a forward-looking statement. So at this point in time, I think it is not prudent to give a specific number to you. What we can assure you that in the projection which we have made, this is the most fundamental criteria which we are looking at. And we are, you have seen if you are following us and you know that from 51% and the highest increase in the provision coverage is for Taageer. So the company is continuously focused on this. The only assurance we can give you is that this remains one of the priority areas for the company and we'll keep on doing this.
Sure. Thank you very much for answering the questions.
Thank you. Shaur?
Yes, hi. Thank you for the opportunity and congratulations on a great set of results. My question relates to it's a follow-up question on what Joyce asked earlier regarding the upcoming interest rate trajectory. So I see that your assets and liabilities obviously would be priced differently. My question is how soon do your assets reprice on an interest rate event, for example, if interest rates decline or increase, versus how soon do your liabilities reprice?
So if you understand the dynamics of this, I think we are in a positive position right now. Let me explain this. That we are mainly a medium to long-term lender. So most of our contracts, the pricing cannot be changed in the short term. So now if you see, as we explained in our borrowing mix, so what we have done is that previously, if you see the borrowing mix of Taageer around 4 to 5 years ago, it was 70% short term. So now what we have done is that we have converted a significant part into long term, because long term is more secure and it will add to the matching maturity profile of the company. So that we have done. So now keeping in with the fact that in terms of our bank borrowing as well as the corporate deposit, both these areas, the cost of new deposit and new borrowing has reduced. So we see a positive impact for them.
Right, perfect. And regarding there's a 20 million cash on your balance sheet, if I'm not wrong. Could you give us some idea on what sort of return is this generating, and do you expect or should we be expecting this to be deployed to the next group?
This was cash. Now it will be deployed in the business. The cash balance was there because we had a perpetual bond in the last quarter. So that is the reason why there was a cash balance and subsequently it was deployed.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Ahlam? Ahlam, do you want to read your question, or Musa, maybe you can read the question?
So the question here from Ahlam. Good morning, team. Great results and best of luck. My one question is, as per your return on assets and return on equity trends over the past 3 years, how do you plan to maintain or improve these ratios? This is the first question. The second question is, could you share insights on your assets quality trends and how you are managing the NPLs? Thank you in advance and all this.
ROA and ROE basically are key ratios when it comes to investors' perspective. that consideration is being discussed on continuous matter and linked with other ratios of performance as well. So whenever we prepare the budget, and that was discussed during the strategy discussion as well at the board level, and we're having discussions with the shareholders as well on any prospective growth capital. So basically the intention is to keep on improving on these ratios. If the economic trend or macroeconomic picture continues to be positive, then I think with the work that is being done internally to improve the assets quality and growth in the direction that we have, I think that these will continue to get improved. On managing the NPLs, it's not basically one kind of solution which fix everything. Internally, we have broken the remedial team into different buckets just to basically control NPAs. And now we are starting to have some monitoring committees as well, just to basically prevent NPAs. As Mr. Kashif was saying, that post-COVID, lots of windows for restructuring were opened by central bank. And as we could see now, we could see some recovery with some clients, but some clients are still suffering till now. And we are still studying with those clients basically possible remedies and how would we basically help them get around those difficulties. It's a continuous effort. We are trying to control that. The aim is to bring NPLs at a lower level, because the higher NPLs we have, the lower profits we deliver to the shareholders as well, and that is not the aim with us. I hope I answered your question. Any more questions? حياك الله.
السلام عليكم.
عليكم
مرحبا.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. حياك الله.
مساك الله بالخير اخي فهد والاخوان. صباح الخير عفوا الوقت
بعدنا مصبحين.
كيف
حياك الله.
صحتك عساك؟ الله يعطيك الصحة والعافية.
الله يعافيك يا رب.
مبارك عليكم العيد وكل عام وانتم طيبين جميعا ان شاء الله.
طيب وايامك سعيدة ان شاء الله.
الله يعطيك الصحة والعافية. أنا حبيت الحقيقة أشارك معاكم أول مرة يمكن أشارك معاكم في المناقشات، يمكن مساهم ومحلل مالي نوعا ما، يعني نشارك في هذه النقاشات سواء كان في البنوك، واليوم أول مرة نشارك معاكم، ونتمنى إن شاء الله مشاركة تكون طيبة يا أخي فهد بعون الله إن شاء الله.
شريف طال عمرك، تشرفنا.
الله يخليك. قبل كل شيء أتمنى إن شاء الله مستقبلا مثل هذه المناقشات، يعني الحقيقة يعني نبغى نشوف الشباب إن شاء الله بعون الله، أنا ممكن حتى يمكن نلتقي إن شاء الله مستقبلا، تعرف هذه الاشياء اللي هي شركات المساهمه العامه، سواء كان في قطاع اللي هو القطاع المالي، الخدمات الماليه، سواء كان في الصناعه، نبغيهم ان شاء الله يشاركوا. طبعا المشاركه الواحد لما يشارك على الاقل لازم يقرا كل شيء قبل، ونعطيهم انشيتيف تقريبا عشان نحفزهم. هذا المطلوب مننا في شركات المساهمه العامه بشكل عام. فاتمنى ان شاء الله مستقبلا نشوف شباب 2 أو 3 يشاركوا، يكونوا عارفين عن ايش يتكلمون، وان شاء الله يكون هذا موجود بعون الله في كل شركات المساهمه العامه.
ان شاء الله. والمشاركه تثري تراها بعد.
اكيد حتى يعني يعني هذه شركات المساهمه العامه، انا في رايي الشخصي حتى في الجمعيات، يعني البورصه نبغى نشوف تفاعل كثير ان شاء الله مستقبلا. الاخوان في طبعا هيئه الخدمات الماليه وحتى البورصه كثير هم من ناحيه اعلاميه ما مقصرين، لكن يمكن طريقه الوصول يعني للناس، طبعا الانسان اللي عنده فكر يمكن او عنده خبره ماليه نوعا ما غير عن الانسان اللي هو البسيط. فبالتالي حتى ممكن لما نحضر هذه النقاشات ممكن يعني مثل ما تقول يكون في توعيه بطريقه معينه بسيطه، ايش هو مثلا شركه التمويل، ايش تختلف عن البنك، مثل هذه الاشياء يعني بتكون مفيده ان شاء الله مستقبلا للناس على اساس انه يعرفوا
الشركات. والله فكره طيبه، يعني انا اتفق معك. يمكن نحن نوع الاشياء اللي نغطيها في البرزنتيشن ما فيها اشياء توعويه، يمكن ندخل على طول في الاداء، بس فكره ممتازه بحييك عليها.
ان شاء الله اخي فهد، اتمنى لك التوفيق عموما على البوزيشن الحين، واتمنى لك ان شاء الله الشركه تكون افضل بعون الله. انا بس عندي استفسار بسيط اخي فهد بخصوص المتوسط سعر الفائده على طبعا الودائع اللي عندكم ودائع شركات اظن 55 مليون شفت كانه بالاضافه للبونز، فتعرف اسعار الفائده اللي دفعوها على الودائع بشكل عام وبالنسبه حتى للقروض، فمتوسط سعر الفائده انا شفت يمكن 7.5 بعضها، فاي كم المتوسط بالضبط يعني اذا كان في الامكان؟
طبعا يمكن نحن الاخ جاسم ما نذكر سعر الفائده على الودائع بالنفس، بس انا بعطيك فكره عن الودائع. احنا يمكن المتوسط اللي تشوفه انت على القروض بشكل عام، القروض من ضمنها الودائع لان هذه تدخل في عمليات تمويل عندنا. الودائع الله يسلمك نحن نقيمها بين فتره وفتره حسب الوارد في السوق، بمعنى نحن البنوك اليوم اذا تروح لهم بيقول لك انا باخذ منك وديعه على 4 او 4.5% لمده سنه. احنا في العاده ندفع اكثر من متوسط البنوك ب 1.5 ل 2% بناء على طلباتنا. يعني بمعنى اذا انا محتاج سيوله انا ممكن اخذ منك الوديعه على سعر معين بناء على المعايير السوقيه المتوفره في الفتره هذه. يعني احنا في السنه الماضيه في بدايه السنه يمكن كنا ندفع للودائع قريب 7% في السنه. لكن الحين بما ان السيوله متوفره والانترست ريت نزل، نحن اليوم نعطيك بين 5 و5.5% على الودائع، والودائع طبعا ما للافراد، الودائع هذه للشركات سواء شركات اسميه او حتى شركات كبيره. فالمحفظه اللي عندنا حوالي مثل ما ذكرت حوالي 55 مليون، فيها متوسط ودائع يوصل احيانا ل 5 او 7 مليون بمعدل سنوي على بعض الشركات. والانترست ريت مثل ما ذكرت لك يعتمد على وقت يعني الدخول في الوديعه. فيمكن اليوم اللي حطوها في 25 متوسط ارباحهم اقل. الودائع القديمه اول ما تنتهي يتم تجديدها على معدلات فائده حسب سعر السوق في ذاك الوقت.
شكرا اخي فهد على ردك. لكن بما ان يعني في العاده البنوك نشوف لما نشوف اللي هي مخاطر سعر الفائده يحطوا المتوسط، فاكيد انتم عندكم حتى كشركه تمويل بغض النظر مثل ما تفضلت يعني نهايه السنه قبل نهايه السنه الاسعار الفوائد مرتفعه، فالناس الشركات تحط ودائع يمكن لمدد طويله يمكن سنه وسنتين، فانتم حتى تدوروا دائما على التمويل طويل الامد، على الاقل تكونوا في يعني في وضع مخاطر السيوله تكون عندكم يعني مضبوطه بشكل عام، لانكم تعطوا قروض على مستويات معينه. فهذا سؤالي بالمتوسط. انا قصدي انت اكيد تعرف عموما اول يعني بالنسبه لي انا اللي يهمني يعني شفت معدل الفوائد على القروض ما بين 8 الى 16 حسب ما شفت في الموسمه، فالمتوسط اكيد يعني انتم تعرفوه اخي فهد. كم اذا ممكن تعطيني كم المتوسط على المحفظه الاقراضيه مالكم اللي حوالي 270 مليون تقريبا صافي التمويل مالكم؟
نحن مثل ما ذكرت لك اخي جاسم، يمكن نحن يعني معدلات التمويل هذه نحن تعرف المحفظه عندنا يعني استحقاقها يمكن من 7 ل 10 سنوات، وفي ناس تجيك بعد سنه او سنتين تقول لك انا ابغى يا اني اسدد يا اني ابغى اخذ مبلغ زياده. ففي تفاوت على الانترست ريت والتفاوت اللي يصير بيننا وبين العميل. بعطيك مثال معين، لما تجيني شركه وعندها اصول وارباحها ممتازه وعندها سكيورتيز تعطيني ضمانات على القرض، انا ممكن الانترست ريت يكون فيها اقل. لكن اذا في عندي شركه ومحصله مثلا نقول سب كونتراكت مشروع كبير مثلا في خلينا نقول في صحارى وماخذين سب كونتراكت من شركه كبيره لكن ما عندهم ضمانات كبيره، لكن نحن نعتقد انه هذا ممكن يؤدي، فممكن نمول له معده فيجي يستلف مني مال 50 او 100 الف، لكن بما انه ما عنده ضمانات وما عنده قوائم ماليه شويه طيبه يمكن معدل الفائده يكون مرتفع. فالمتوسط مثل ما ذكرت لك او مثل ما مذكور في القوائم الماليه هو بين 8 الى 13 و 16% تقريبا. ما في يعني في تفاوت بين حتى اقراض الافراد واقراض الشركات، وحتى نوع الشركات في الاقراض في تفاوت حسب نوع الضمانات، حسب اداء الشركه، حسب الخبره الطويله لصاحب الشركه. فنحن يعني ما في انه والله واحد يجينا اليوم انا باغي 100,000 امول معدل بقول له والله التمويل ب 12 او 13%، لا، في تفاوض يصير، اشوف امكانياته الماليه، اشوف الضمانات اللي قدمها، ويكون في اخذ وعطاء، ويمكن يبغى يدفع خلال 4 سنوات او 3 سنوات، لكن معدل الفائده يكون فيها قليل، غير لما يجيني واحد يقول لك انا بغى ادفع على خلال 8 سنوات او 10 سنوات. فما في ما اقدر اقول لك في عندنا مبلغ فائده يعني معدل يعني ممكن اقول لك عنه الحين، لكن هو تفاوض بيننا وبين العميل ودراسه وضع العميل بالنفس. هذا بشكل عام.
شكرا اخي فهد على الرد. مثل ما تعرف يعني شركات التمويل الانسان اللي فاهم يعني نوعا ما تكون دائما مكلفه بالنسبه للناس، وتعرف انت الاوضاع الاقتصاديه بشكل عام، فاتمنى انتم كشركات تمويل ان شاء الله يعني اسعار الفائده دائما احنا شايفين الوضع الاقتصادي بشكل عام، فاسعار الفائده اتمنى اخوي فهد تكون يعني محسوبه بطريقه يعني ما تاخذوا، لان المحفظه حتى عندكم اشوف حتى البروفيجن عندكم اللي هو المخصصات للقروض المتعثره حوالي ارتفعت السنه يعني حوالي نص تقريبا، تساوي نفس الربح مال حوالي 6 مليون وشيء انا ما اعتقد. فبالتالي هذه الامور تعرف الانسان لما عندكم، فالمفروض انا يمكن حتى لما كنت يعني انا يمكن مساهم معاكم حتى قلت دخلت مع اخوي خليل رئيس مجلس الاداره اساس ان هذه الامور اللي هي القروض اللي اتمنى تكون فيها يعني، خصوصا انت الحين ماسك الشركات، اتمنى تكون في يعني ما هي نحن حجم القرض تزيد وكم المحفظه، اهم شيء انه تكون نوعيه القروض، اسعار الفائده تكون يعني على الاقل تعرف الناس اللي تجيكم محتاجين فعلا. البنوك هي في العاده اقل اسعار الفائده لان عندهم السيوله الكافيه، عندهم القوه الماليه مقارنه بشركات التمويل، فبالتالي انتم كمسؤولين في هذه شركات التمويل لازم تراعوا هذه الامور يعني بشكل عام، وهذا اقتصاد بشكل عام يهمنا. يعني ما نبغي الناس، يعني انت الحين لما تشوف عندك والله قروض متعثره بمبلغ 40 مليون تقريبا في المحفظه، فمعناته نسبه كبيره، فبالتالي هذه كلها تروح للمشاكل القانونيه. فالانسان ذيك الساعه يبغى ياخذ كل شيء، بتاخذ منه انت كل الضمانات، لكن بعدين فلازم تحسبها اخي فهد بانك انت الحين ماسك هذه الشركه. اتمنى تكون يعني نوعيه القروض تكون نوعيه، يعني يهمنا قبل نحن كمساهمين وكمستثمرين، يهمنا يكون اقتصادنا يكون قوي، يهمنا الناس فعلا تحصل التمويل المناسب باسعار مناسبه يعني. فهذا في بالي يا اخي فهد، وحبيت
جزاك
اشارك
الله
معكم
خير.
بهذا
بارك
الموسم
الله.
يعني. الله يخليك. عندي بس سؤال اخير بالنسبه للافراد. شفت
تفضل.
المحفظه مالكم ارتفعت من 85 الى 103 مليون تقريبا.
نعم.
ايش نوعيه القطاع التاجير التمويلي هذا؟ هل هو تمويل مثل ما تقول يعني شراء سيارات، او ايش بالضبط بالنسبه للافراد عندكم اذا كان في الامكان؟
احنا
يعني
بالنسبه للافراد اخي جاسم عندنا منتجين رئيسيين، والحين نحاول ننوع في منتجاتنا. المنتج الاولاني هو تمويل سيارات ومعدات بالنسبه للافراد، وفي عندنا تمويل شخصي، يعني مثل القروض الشخصيه اللي تعطيها البنوك، لكن نعطيها مقابل يعني خلينا نقول واحد يبغى يشتري اثاث، انا ممكن اموله لشراء اثاث او شراء خلينا نقول اغراض كهربائيه للمنزل، فنسميه كونسيومر لون. هذا مدته توصل بين 5 إلى 7 سنوات تقريبا. كان في طلب بيني وبينك، يعني يمكن انت لاحظت البنوك في الفتره الماضيه كان فيها تعقيدات بخصوص التامين وبخصوص عمليه التمويل والتاخر في عمليه التمويل. في بعض الناس يعني يحبوا شويه تسهيل في الاجراءات، نحن الحمد لله الاجراءات عندنا مسهله وفق ضوابط البنك المركزي طبعا، وكان في طلب كثير من الافراد على بعض المنتجات، والحمد لله نسبه التعثر فيها قليله جدا يعني.
شكرا اخي فهد على هذا الايضاح، ما قصرت. استفسار بالنسبه للتوظيف، ما شاء الله انا لاحظت عندكم ما شاء الله السنه الماضيه 167 ارتفعوا ما شاء الله الى 177، فهذا شيء جيد. انا كمواطن وكانسان بسيط يعني يمكن الى علاقه بالاستثمار والبورصه، فهذا اكثر من جيد. انا اتمنى بس هذا الشباب هل هم خريجين جامعات وظفتوا تقريبا اللي زادوا العدد هذا؟
والله يعني نحن يمكن اصرارنا نوظف خريجين الجامعات كحد ادنى من المؤهل، ونحن ايش نسوي يعني بس اساس تكون في الصوره، نحن حتى العدد اللي شفته في غيره متدربين حاليا، فنستقطب بعض الكفاءات ندربهم، واذا تمكنوا يتم تحويلهم لموظفين دائمين. فيمكن شفت انت العدد كبير السنه الماضيه، لكن قبلها هذول كانوا متدربين عندنا في الشركه، فيتم تدريبهم وتاهيلهم، واذا اجتازوا مرحله تدريب بنجاح يتم تثبيتهم.
شكرا اخي فهد على المعلومه هذه. بالنسبه للتدريب انا عندي كان اقتراح بسيط اذا كان في الامكان اقترح عليك الحين. تعرف حتى التدريب البسيط يعني ممكن نسميه، يعني مو شرط انه تدريب بيظل بفتره طويله. تعرف حتى في بعض عندكم اظن 8 فروع، تعرف هذه اللي هي المؤسسات الماليه سواء كان بنوك او سواء كان شركات تمويل، هي ما فيها شيء كبير يعني، بس الانسان لازم يفهم. يعني معظمنا يمكن مهندسين، كثير من الاخوان الحين ما شاء الله ماسكين الامور الماليه في الشركات الكبيره، يعني مو انه شيء تعرف الارقام مجرد انك ممكن تشوفها بس اهم شيء تفهمها يعني بشكل عام. فبالتالي يعني يا ريت نشوف تدريب يعني بكل مكان ونعطيهم مكافآت بسيطه. مثلا في شركه التمويل معاكم واحد من المسقط مثلا والله امكانيات اهله الماديه بسيطه، يتدرب حتى لو شهر. انا مو اقول لك عشان يتوظف يتدرب، لكن فعلا لما يتدرب نبغيه يعني حد من الاخوان عندكم في التدريب او شؤون الموظفين يتابعوا على اساس ان هذا يفهم كيف على الاقل الميزانيه العموميه، كيف يفهم الموسمه، يعني الاشياء البسيطه. فهذا المفروض دور الشركات المساهمه العامه، خصوصا هذه الشركات المساهمه العامه مو شركات خاصه يعني بشكل عام، والرواتب الحمد لله مجزيه، وحتى اللي هم الاخوان اللي هم اعضاء مجالس الادارات يعني الحمد لله نعطيهم مكافآت اكثر من رائعه في كل شركات المساهمه العامه، بغض النظر اذا كان هم الواحد يملك سهم او انه يمثل جهه سياديه عندنا. فبالتالي هذه الامور تكون موجوده عندكم كادارات تنفيذيه. نبغى نشوف مشاركه للشركات المساهمه العامه في هذه الامور اللي تخص المواطن بشكل عام. وتعرف انت نحن ناس اقتصاديين وعارفين الوضع الاقتصادي في البلد، اسعار البترول اللي احنا شايفين، ونعرف حتى ان مستقبليا مع الاحداث اللي تحصل بتكون الامور شويه نوعا ما فيها صعوبه، لكن الحمد لله عندنا ناس اكفاء، ونحن كمواطنين نفهم في الامور الماليه، ممكن تشارك بالاشياء الطيبه اللي فيها اشياء ايجابيه لوطننا ان شاء الله بعون الله. فنكمل بعض اخوي فهد بهذه الامور، وان شاء الله
بارك الله
خير. اخر مداخله بخصوص المسؤوليه الاجتماعيه. انا يمكن حتى في الاجتماع اللي هو مجلس الاداره يعني نعطيكم موافقه بحدود 50,000. انا اتمنى ان شاء الله هذه السنه تصرف للناس اللي فعلا محتاجه بعون الله ان شاء الله. فاتمنى، انا الحين اقول لك هذا الكلام اخوي فهد، واكيد ان شاء الله بنتواصل في الايام القادمه ان شاء الله، وكلنا في مكان واحد بعون الله، سواء كان
بإذن الله.
مساهمين، سواء كان محللين، سواء كان هي الوطن بشكل عام، كلنا نخدم الوطن.
باذن الله. بارك الله فيك اخي جاسم، وشارك لك طرح.
الله يخليك، سعيد بالتواجد معكم، واتمنى ان شاء الله مستقبلا نشوف حد من الشباب يكونوا موجودين اللي هم في الدراسات الجامعيه، وان شاء الله يكونوا لهم دور في هذه الامور ان شاء الله بعون الله. شكرا
بإذن
اخي
الله.
فهد
شكرا
للقاء.
لك.
الله
بارك الله
يخليك.
فيك.
الله يخليك. شكرا.
We open the floor to others if they have any questions. I would like to thank everybody for joining us today. It has been a fruitful discussion with the analyst, and we really appreciate the time spent on this. Thank you very much again, and look forward to meeting you in future, inshallah.